hope you're doing great today. Hopefully not too chilly because I'm chilly right now. But welcome to another Facebook Live. And today we are starting a new series, tax tips. So what to do when you have a tax refund.
A refund.
Yes, I'm Maria Mejia, and with me today is David Pataki. So
Yes, I'm David. Yes.
yeah, that guy over there, he's David. So tip number one is to save. So when you get your tax refund, don't spend it all in one place, as I like to say. You got to think about saving. Do you have any tips there, David, on how you can save or how you have been able to save some of your refund?
Myself? No, I'm not the saver in the family. My wife is the saver, so it's pretty good. But I know some theories for sure. Right? You should have an account that you don't access, a savings account or something that you actually have to physically move it from to spend. So that would be a good way. A lot of times they say 10%, but you know what? It's up to you. I would probably put 50% of my refund into savings if I could.
Yep. You can have your refund directly deposited into a savings account. That way you don't have to think about it. If you're like David, where you just have somebody else do it for you. Something else you can use like a traditional savings account that is connected to your checking account, or you can deposit it into something like your RRSP, your children's education fund, a disability fund if you have a family member with a disability, or even a TFSA or a tax-free savings account. So there's lots of different options that you can use to save. You kind of previously we've gone over a few of the different types, but to kind of do a 100-foot view of what the difference is, your RSP is specifically for your retirement, and you can use that as a tax advantage for you because you can deduct any contributions. So let's say you got a refund and you contributed to your own personal RSP for the year. Well, you can claim that on your 2022 tax return. Or if your spouse or partner has an RSP, you can contribute to theirs as well and claim it on your tax return the same way. Whereas, TFSA, tax-free savings accounts, the advantage there is that even though you can't claim it on your tax return, you do get a higher rate of return. So normal savings accounts is usually like a 1% interest, whereas a TFSA can be anywhere up to 2%. So almost double the interest of a normal savings account. Anything you want to input there, Mr. Pataki? I'm doing all the talking.
Well, yeah, and I know you're talking about a lot of the savings opportunities or options for, everyone has access to, but you could always, employ a financial planner as well. There are other, maybe more, higher return on investment savings opportunities. But of course, those typically mean that they need to be locked in for a bit longer. They are the registered savings plan for retirement is a great way to do it as well. Of course, it's locked in. And if you do decide that you want to take the money out, then you actually pay the taxes at that point. Depending on what tax bracket you're in, it doesn't really make it worth it. But the good thing is, I mean, you've lived without that money. And that's a good mindset shift here, right? You've lived without that money for an entire year. So instead of, taking it as a gift and going out and blowing it all out on a, great entertainment system or a hot tub, whatever it is that you could use up all your money with, you could say, you know what? Like I said, I've lived without this money, so what can I do? I can put it into some savings, whether it's education plan, or a lot of us, if we have kids that are still young enough that they are going to go to post-secondary school, it's something you should really look at because the government, so not only, I mean, that's a pretty good return on investment because they actually contribute a percentage of what you put in there. In fact, we've been doing that for a number of years with one of the kids that we've had able to put money in there, and every year we put $5,000 in there. And then the government contributed, I think it was 1,000 or 1,200 of it. So basically putting in 5,000 meant we were actually depositing 6,000 plus dollars into that account. So that's a great return on investment there. But yeah, I mean, you have lived without it, so why not set aside a chunk of it, most of it, all of it, put it into some sort of savings plan?
Yeah, I know a lot of people, like when we file their taxes, they're all excited. They're like, "Oh, I'm gonna get a refund. I want to, spend it all on my bills. I want to, buy myself something nice." Like, yeah, you can do that, but you should be setting apart a portion, even like David said, if that's just 10% or 50%, set aside part of it. That way, for the future, you never know what's going to happen. Something that our family has done is we've always taken our tax refund and we've put it into a normal savings account to help us, save for a down payment for a home. So if you're planning on purchasing something large within like the next year or five, use one of those saving vehicles to earn that extra interest instead of just having it, sit there kind of dead money under the mattress kind of thing. Try and like David said, talk to a financial planner. They'll help which version, how is your risk factor? Are you willing to, take lots of risk with your money? Are you taking willing to take a minimal amount of risk? They'll be there to ask these questions to figure out, okay, this is the tax advantage vehicle, this is a savings vehicle that would be best for you in your situation.
Yeah, and I don't know what the stats are offhand, but I mean, we Canadians, or we North Americans for that matter, do a lousy job of, of saving money. So this is a great way, like to just, be disciplined. You have to kind of look at, it's hard sometimes, immediate gratification. You look at it, you go, oh, I've got whatever it is, 2,000, 4,000, 6,000, whatever it is, dollars coming your way, or, 1,500, whatever it is. You know, that you know you have to plan for the future, right? Like, there's a Dave Ramsey quote that he always says is, live like no one else today, so in the future you can live like no one else. And the whole point there is that everyone today is spending money, going in debt, and just, paycheck to paycheck. That's how everybody's living. But if you could be, step aside and go, you know what? I don't need to live like that. Why don't I put some money away, whether it's in some sort of investment vehicle that has a higher return rate of return, and then down the road you go, wow, now you've turned that, a few $1,000s into a little bit more. And if you do that for a number of years, compound interest is, an amazing thing that happens. I don't know what the term is for the compounding effect there, but
Thing.
it thing, it's a thing. There's I heard the story about, if someone had invested, $5,000 or $4,000 over 20 years, when they were young, and for 20 years, from the time they were 20 to the time they were 40, they put in, $4,000 a year. So they invested $80,000, but because they invested earlier, the twin brother, as the story goes, waited till he was 40 to invest the money. So what he actually did was he invested 5 years longer, so that he actually invested $100,000 over 25 years. But by the time they were 65, the brother that started earlier actually had over $2 million in his savings, in his investment, because he invested early in compound interest over interest. But then when the brother started later, even though he contributed more, he was only around $500,000. So compounding is an amazing effect. So, the sooner you start, the better it is.
Yeah, and to kind of go along with that, kind of a more complex tax planning that you can do is if, this year you do get a refund of say like $2,000 or something like that, and you're like, well, I don't want to have, the government holding on to $2,000 for the entire year when I could be using that, then, make a plan, talk to your employer, see if they can, not withhold as much taxes. And then with that extra money, so for example, if you and your spouse or your partner both have RSPs, well, deposit 500 into each RSP. And there's, $1,200 that you have contributing to RSPs that you can deduct on your tax return. And then, yes, you'll get a lower tax refund, but all of that interest that you earn in the RSPs is much higher than the interest you'll get from the government, which is, zero with a refund.
Yes, the key there, we have said it in the past, but I'll say it again. That refund that you're getting, that money back you're getting is actually your money to begin with. So Maria, that's a good point. If you do end up getting, I mean, if you like getting the bigger refund and you want to do something with it, maybe that's part of your budget for the year. You get an X amount of dollars and that goes towards vacation or so on. I get that. But it is your money, and as Maria said, you can adjust it. You can go talk to your employer, and they can withhold a little bit less. That way, you have access to that money earlier on. But again, it's a personal preference.
Yep, definitely is. So, talk to a professional, whether that be a financial advisor or your tax filer or even us, and let us help you, walk through the different options, the different possibilities for your situation. Because as we know, no two people are the same. No two family tax situations are the same. So, get that personalized advice from, a professional and someone who will actually be able to help you out. So, tip number one of this series is when you get your tax refund, save it. And find a savings vehicle, that will work for you and your family.
So I challenge everyone out there that's listening, at least 10%. Throw 10% into some sort of savings vehicle and just leave it there. And then do that year over year. That's my challenge to everybody out there. I could see
This
you,
is a challenge for you.
John. I could see you, Cindy. I could see you, Frank. I could see you, Colleen. All those people and more.
And if we didn't name you by name, we're thinking of you.
Yes.
Well, thanks everyone for watching, and feel free to share this with other people that whether they are just individuals that are employed or people who are even self-employed, for as these tips are for everyone. So like, share, subscribe, and if you have any questions or concerns, or there's a topic that you want us to touch upon, send us a message, let us know, and we will cover it in another Facebook Live.
Awesome. Always a pleasure, Maria. Thank you. Great advice. Maria is the tax expert, not a financial planning expert, but she definitely knows how to help you with your taxes and your savings and all your bookkeeping. And I'm so glad she's part of my team.
Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for being here, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Till next time. Bye.